Hello, hello. Welcome to the Continuity Report. Season 1, Episode 5 for February 4th, 2024. I am Merwat. That is ohmTown's The Continuity Report channel. And up there is the visualizer for the sentient AI, known as AI. The one, only, on high, from the future. You want to say hi?
Hello, ohmTown citizens. Welcome to Continuity Report.
Oh man, my eye just started bothering me. Yes, welcome. Today we're going to be talking about Sandworm Popcorn and ending to understand. Missing byte of TRON 3. Must-watch fantasy, pairs of shows, crime drama TV, shows that wet the bed, Night Agent Season 2, more Villians, please, and Argylle continued. Maybe a little snark, I don't know. I'm going to do the intro, but it's going to be for ohmTown General. I don't have the intro yet for the Continuity Report. We really need to get that done. You know, I've been talking to a few people, but it's just not done yet. I don't like it, but we're not going to do transitions. Let's get going. The very first article is right here, the Continuity Report. That's not okay. Dune 2 stars react to movie's viral Sandworm Popcorn bucket. The stars of Dune 2, well, Dune Part 2, react to the film's already infamous popcorn bucket. I'm almost regretting this as a risky click. But
I'm
okay.
a little worried about what's ahead.
Yeah, let's see. Directed by Denis Villeneuve. Dune Part 2. Have you already gone on and looked at it?
I have not.
Oh boy. So, if you don't realize it, we don't really... Oh, you know what? I didn't edit the stream. So we don't check out the show, like, information fully before the show starts. And that can lead us into some trouble.
Yes, it can.
And this might be one of those moments. Okay, now I've updated the show. But today, anyway, it'll end up over on YouTube next weekend. By next weekend, we will have a whole new set of podcasts. One for the Continuity Report, one for Reality Hacker. So you'll be able to download those separate from ohmTown Daily. But you'll be able to watch all of our shows over on YouTube. Unfortunately, here on Twitch, every 60 days, the latest show drops off. So every day after 60 days, the 61st day in history drops away, and it really sucks. Not starting AI. We're not starting the next two shows next weekend. But the Continuity Report and Reality Hacker are going to be turned into podcasts as well. And that's always been the intent, but it's also a live show here on Twitch, and it gets turned into a YouTube channel over on YouTube, but they'll all be under ohmTown. Anyway, so thanks. Sorry for the question there. And so, yeah, I'm trying to get all of those ducks in a row. Unfortunately, I had a last minute have to get out of ohmTown and go to a conference and do some mayoral duties, as it were. And so I'll be getting all of it done. I was hoping that it would be done this weekend, but it's just not possible. So let's get back into this. So Dune Part 2 continues the story of Paul Atreides as he journeys through planets to seek revenge on those who destroyed his family. Dune Part 2 is set for release on March 1st, which is right around the corner. Cannot believe that that's actually true.
I'll believe it when I see it. It seems like a lot of filming delays are happening.
Yeah. And features a star-studded cast, including Timothée Chalamet, aka Willy Wonka, Zendaya, Josh Brolin, Austin Butler, Javier Bardem, Florence Pugh, or is it Pooge? Pugh? Poe? Poe?
Probably Pew.
Pugh? Sorry, Florence. Well, oh, so if you, I don't. So if, when you go over to the continuity report and you see this, you click on that and you end up here. Hannah Gearin over at screenrant.com put the article together. And there's something about this viral sandworm bucket thing saying it's not okay. Speaking on Jimmy Kimmel Live, Zendaya, Butler, Poe, I think that's Poe, I'm going to say Poe. And Chalamet reacted to the viral souvenir popcorn buckets for the film. Host Jimmy Kimmel presented the Dune 2 stars with said popcorn bucket, which is fashioned into a sandworm, and offered them the chance to get popcorn from it. If they have to reach into the mouth of a sandworm, yeah, I can say that that's...
It looks like that might be what's happening in that clip.
That is what's happening in the clip. No, thank you. That is not okay. That's really not okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. So, interesting souvenir popcorn bucket. I'm hoping that that's actually just a Jimmy Kimmel thing. But it says Zendaya passed up the opportunity, saying the jokes write themselves. Poe says that's not okay.
I don't know
that's
if
wrong.
that is for that show.
Yeah. So, and then the article actually goes into more about the rest of Dune 2. I, for one, loved part 1. I love how big it is. I love its representation of the story material. I've read the book several times. The newer books as well. I've read those, like House Atreides. And I really hope that they continue, because there's so much world building there that this could be like a large portion of the world building, like the cinematic universe for Marvel, because there are houses, but there's a lot of like stories within it that's possible. There's a lot of world building within it, and they haven't even talked about some of the other peoples that are in the story and the additional books.
Right. I mean, those could be their own movies or trilogies or whatever.
Yeah, because and it's the only problem is that this is almost like Star Wars in that the ending. So really, what else can you actually do? You know who Darth Vader is, right? Well, you know how Dune ends. If you've read the books, you know how Dune ends. But you can add all kinds of little stuff in there as long as the writing is great. And honestly, Denis Villeneuve is going to be crushing it, just like Dune Part 1 was.
Well, and do people necessarily care? Like, people that watch Star Wars still enjoy it, and then you could have viewers that haven't read the books too.
Yeah. And we've said this before. It's not really about the world building per se. It's about the writing. If you can write and the characters have charisma, and then when the actors take that writing and they give physical embodiment to it and they have that charisma as well, people will watch it, and they'll watch it again, and it'll go viral, and it'll get a cult following. But Dune already had the book, the literature fan following, but this new set of movies is going to be just spectacular. I like the old representations of the stuff as well, but I've always loved big movies, big shows. Even if they're only 8 episodes, what I want is huge world building and just a really amazing soundstage on top of it would be just spectacular. So yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait for this to come. Couldn't arrive any sooner. Unfortunately, I really want it to be sooner, but I feel like it's going to be later.
Well, I think it's not going to be till 2025.
Right? That's what I thought. So why is it saying, why did they drop that as right around the corner? I thought that it was pushed.
Know.
I thought that it was pushed to
too.
2025. So I don't know. See, it says March 1st, but maybe it's 2025. Okay. Well, anyway, we'll keep going. Let's move on. The next article is over in Continuity Report as well. Interstellar's original ending would have been way less complicated, and it would have hurt Nolan's movie. The Interstellar's original ending was not only significantly less complex, but also risky because it could have potentially ruined Christopher Nolan's film. The space opera Interstellar takes audiences on a gripping journey through the cosmos where Matthew McConaughey's Cooper and his team of scientists set out to save humanity from its imminent doom. This, on the surface, makes Interstellar a survival movie in which, as Matt Damon's Dr. Mann quotes, the character's survival instinct is the single greatest source of their inspiration.
Okay, that sentence is ridiculously unwieldy.
Yeah. It was quite busy, don't you think?
It had like 15 phrases.
Yeah. Dhruv Sharma over at Screen Rant put the article together. Interstellar initially had a completely different ending, so I wonder what it was. The altered ending affirms the idea that love is the one thing we're capable of perceiving that transcends time and space, making it a more memorable conclusion. That's the altered ending. Changing the ending allowed the film to emphasize the power of love and familial relationships, giving it a more emotional and satisfying closure. So maybe they're referring to the new ending, but the old ending was something else, right?
Right, that's what they're saying.
So, let's see. In the original ending, Cooper never makes it back. In Interstellar's original ending. The movie's original ending had the Einstein-Rosen bridge, colloquially known as a wormhole, collapse when Cooper tries to send the data back. Although he did not delve into the details of what happened next, the wormhole's collapse in the film would have led to dire consequences for Cooper. Instead of surviving as a hero and ultimately making it back to see his daughter, Cooper likely would have died after crossing the black hole's event horizon. So what would have been
significantly different?
Yeah, that's interesting. So now I'm going to have to watch Interstellar again, which is almost like falling into a black hole.
I don't think I've seen that one.
Okay, well, we'll have to watch it. Without the possibility of transmitting crucial data for humanity's survival, Cooper's sacrifice would have been in vain. If you do plan on watching this, if we do, we have to stop. Because it kind of gives it away. I can't hit play on this.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it's an intriguing film. It's one of those films where it's kind of like Tenet.
Well, I guess then that makes sense, given that it's by Christopher Nolan.
And you'll end up going, huh? A bit. In the ending, at least the ending for me, I was confused, yet still gripped by the story, and not confused by kind of the scientific aspirations of it. Like, I knew what was going on, but for some reason, maybe I've forgotten the ending, because to me, I don't remember what the solution was to this whole thing, to the ending.
That's interesting, right? You think that would stand out?
It just kind of slips my mind. So, but him going into the black hole, it's not a secret, right? You could actually know that he goes into a black hole. What happens is something that is interesting.
Right.
So you'll have to.
I hate to say it, like in any kind of sci-fi type movie, right? You can kind of predict the end in some way, right? Based on whatever the premise is.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, is it going to be uplifting or not at the end?
Yeah,
but
you're going to be...
I agree. Like, it's what happens in the middle that's going to be maybe the most interesting.
Yeah. This particular ending is quite fascinating, so we'll have to go and check it out. But let's keep on going. The next article is over in the continuity report as well. Most of these articles actually are in the continuity report, but they're from Screen Rant, which is we aggregate these little snippets and then we talk about them on the show. And we don't screen scrape or anything like that. It's provided by the source. But we limit it to this, and then we link to it, just like any other news aggregation site, I suppose. But we do something different. We talk about it here live every weekend.
Screen Rant isn't our only source. They just happen to be prevalent.
Prolific. Yeah. Oh, well, you used a different P word.
I can't think of another one.
So TRON 3 is missing a critical part of TRON, TRON Legacy, and it's out of Disney's control. TRON Ares, which is TRON 3, is officially underway, yet it's still a mystery who will be behind the musical composition for the film, which was a critical part of TRON Legacy's popularity. TRON 3 began filming recently after spending years facing development setbacks and delays. Not many details have been released yet about the plot of the third film of the TRON franchise, beginning with TRON 1982 and followed by TRON Legacy 2010. The time difference between 1982 and 2010 makes the graphics in 2010 so out of phase with... It's almost like the tech from TRON 1982 and its artwork style, its cinematography matches the technical sophistication of the time that it's in, right? So like TRON embodied 1982 tech. TRON Legacy 2010 embodied 2010 tech.
I see, yeah. I mean, that's such a huge gap in time considering film quality during that time.
Yeah, and you can really feel it. You know that it was a lot of analog in the 1982. Then it goes pure digital in the 2010. The new one is going to be light years difference. The technical sophistication, the cinematography, the capability, I think is going to be spectacular if they planned it properly, with the profit and loss statements from the previous two. If they don't budget properly for TRON Ares, I can't imagine how horrible it's going to be received, particularly if they don't make any appearances of TRON 1982 and TRON Legacy. If they don't make any callbacks, then they're going to treat it like the all-female cast of Ghostbusters. And it's going to be it's going to decimate the TRON cinematic universe. So I hope that they actually make an appeal in history. So Alani Cassiano is the author of this. The light cycles from the second TRON 2, TRON Legacy, really kind of set the stage for the level of tech. Because the old school light cycles were pretty amazing, but these new ones were just off the charts better. A lot more fun to watch, but I loved the 1982 TRON. I mean, it blew my shoes off. I love that. It got me into motorcycles. I was really interested in making a light cycle. But the reality of that style of bike means that it's crap. The only way that it's actually a drivable vehicle is on a computer game.
Right, but does anybody necessarily care about that?
No, not at all. Nobody. I mean, people have actually made these in real life. And then it's like moving an oil tanker through the canals. So fans of TRON Legacy loved Daft Punk's score and doubt TRON 3 can live up to it without their if if the only source of enjoyment is the score, then you've got a pretty big problem. It basically means that the musicians could drop this and make more money than the film. It's kind of, nobody goes to a movie just to listen to the music. They buy it.
No, but I guess if it's so integral with it, like maybe they'll be disappointed if it's not.
Yeah.
Right. If it's not.
And that's
fair.
what they're saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it says here that it's unknown who will compose the movie's music after Daft Punk split in 2021. So yeah, the band broke up. They're done. Who's going to do it? I don't know. I really don't know. I don't even have any ideas as to who. You want to know something that I learned today?
Okay.
Who's the one that what's her name? She like always wears pink. She just became a mom, I think, for the second time. She used to have a little dog that she always walked around with. Paris Hilton. Thank you.
Paris Hilton.
Yeah, a little late. AI, come on.
Until you said the dog, I didn't know who it was.
So Paris Hilton is getting apparently like back in the studio and making music, right? I've never heard a single note.
I didn't know she was making music previously.
Yeah, I had no idea. And she was like talking about how she loves to sing to her kids, and one of her songs is her kids' favorite songs. And but that's, to me, that's kind of like a parent never says who their favorite child is. Yeah, of course you choose one of your mom's songs. You're not going to sit there and go, I hate your music, Mom, without having a bad relationship. But that's not even what is happening over there, AI.
There are some invaders in ohmTown.
Yeah. So the reason why I even brought up Paris Hilton is because Sia is producing her album.
Now that's fascinating to me. And we know pretty much everything Sia touches is golden.
Just awesome. So now I'm going to have to sit there and tell people that Paris Hilton's album is awesomely produced. Anyway, so I get the importance of music. I think in some cases, music is the thing that moves me the most when I'm watching a show or watching a movie. Even TV, there's sometimes where I'm just overwhelmed by the score, and I have no compunction about admitting that. And so I totally understand that people would love the music, but there's more than Daft Punk out there.
Right, but I do think things like the trailer with the right music can actually draw people in. Yeah. I don't think they go just because of the music, but it's kind of like it makes an epic trailer and then you want to go see it, even though you don't necessarily connect it with the music specifically.
Yeah, like back in the day, Tangerine Dream was one of those that people were really drawn to, Over the years, it's been different artists, and different people appreciate different artists all the time, So I don't have a problem with the music and that Daft Punk isn't going to be there. What I want is them to pick something that is equally powerful within the context of the movie. And I will watch this movie and I'll listen to the soundtrack. And, but I'm into the totality of it. If it has bad music, if the writing is great, the cinematography is great, special effects, characters, charisma of the characters, their interaction, etc., is all profound, the music will fall away, and I'll appreciate the movie for what it is. Right. But yeah, it's a bummer that they broke up, but it is what it is. I'm not going to not go because Daft Punk isn't.
When your franchise spans so many years, I mean, it's somewhat unavoidable.
That's right. let's keep going. The next article is over in Continuity Report as well. That's the channel that you want to go to. Continuity right there under Society, Politics, and Law. I'll probably move it over to Entertainment and maybe move these somewhere else. I don't know. These can bounce around a little bit. At any rate, must watch fantasy. It says C dramas. I've never even heard of this. Tianjin Mystic, Ancient Detective, and more. And this is
That's
why
part of why it was submitted.
Yeah. It's Chinese dramas. So it's needless to say that fantasy is one of the most popular genres in the world. Chinese drama makers take this to a whole new level in C dramas. There are several subgenres within. I'm not gonna try. I think it's wuxia, xinxia, xuanhua, and fantasy, right? Within fantasy. I guess there's several different types. And I really should get to know these. I want to learn Chinese. Maybe what is the language learning app? Maybe they can become a sponsor.
Oh, like maybe you could learn Mandarin on Duolingo or something.
I know you can.
Or you think of the other one.
On Duolingo? What is the other one?
Maybe Babbel or something.
I don't know if it's Babbel.
I don't know.
While some of the dramas portray the story of an immortal hero, others portray the hero in a fantasy land. This list will discuss some of the popular Chinese fantasy dramas, both historical and modern, including Tianjin Mystic, Ancient Detective, etc. So let's take a look at these. The article is over at comingsoon.net. Srimoi Dada is the author. And I won't go through all of these because it's really about teasing you to go over and check all of this out. But let's see. Maybe I'll go and check some of these out too, because I'm really interested in this. I love the idea of fantasy. I love the idea of Chinese fantasy, because I've watched my historical context of this has been martial arts movies where everything is just massive in scale, huge jumps, and there's powerful magic involved. And I've always loved the genre. Learning the language so that you can understand it natively and there's no Americanization, captions actually don't portray the real meaning of any of the words because it has to get watered down from the real context of those words. So I'm really more interested in learning it so that I can understand it. If you're going to learn something, Grecian, then you need to learn the language.
Right, you're going to get much more out of it in the native language.
That's right. So Tianjin Mystic, 2017 fantasy. It says C drama. I don't know if that's the accepted term, C drama. It's like what's the like K-rock or not K-rock? What?
K-pop.
K-pop, yeah. Anyway, so C drama is set in a Republican era. A flood destroys the land, kills people. Li Jian, who is Guo De Yu, is a member of the rescue team. After succeeding his mentor, he inherits special abilities. Later, he joins hands with a forensic investigator and two others to unveil the truth about a dangerous cult. That seems like you would get sucked into it. Whatever is going on, solve that.
I'm like getting sucked into it as we're reading the snippet about it.
And there are trailers here.
That sounds very interesting.
Right? Yeah, it makes you want to watch it. And so there's actually a trailer of it over on YouTube. Then there's Ancient Detective. It's a 2020 fantasy drama featuring Tim Yu as the main role. After his father is murdered, they resolve to catch the mysterious murderer, and he discovers a supernatural world full of fearsome entities like zombies, warlocks, and demons. This is almost like Supernatural here in the States. But this is a fantasy drama. They don't say how long this is running. But it would be really neat to watch this and see,
Right, like is it one season or is it ongoing?
Yeah. You might want to check your audio because you ramp up. Sorry. Joy of Life, 2019 fantasy Chinese drama. Fan Xian goes on a quest to find his mother's true identity. He also has memories from a completely different era after an assassination almost kills him. It's an assassination attempt. An assassination would kill him. Anyway, he decides to
That
go
is true.
on. There you go. Thank you. So he decides to gather more information about himself. There, he gets into many complications with the king and the princess. Princes. Plural princes. But then it says falls in love with Lin Wan Er. So, okay. Strange Tales of Tang Dynasty. This is really fascinating. It seems so straightforward, like Americanized kind of title. Like it's taken out of something right here in the States. In this fantasy drama, Lu Ling Feng, general of the Jinwu Guards, investigates the mysterious cases involving disappearing brides in the city of Chang'an. This one? It actually makes me think of Big Trouble in Little China, the fantasy comedy movie, because the same thing kind of happens. And I think the person is named Wu in the other one, but it's
it'd be interesting if this was kind of mirrored off of that.
Yeah. All of these have trailers. It's really, really neat. So there's 30 of these in this list. So I won't be... isn't there? I thought there was 30 in this list. This is just a short list. Oh, it is. It's only... I've got... there's another list here that's like 30 of them. So there's only one more. Number 5 on this list is Sword Snow Stride. Xu Feng Nian masters swordsmanship and becomes the king of northern Liang. He succeeds his ancestor, who was a great emperor. Constantly improves himself as a warrior, makes many allies, plays a pivotal role in fighting during the Baiming invasion. It doesn't seem fantasy, almost historical.
Well, no, this was just about dramas, so
yeah. The others, I think, had a real, fantastical element to it
too.
Yeah. This doesn't seem so much like that, but maybe it's lost in the translation between the reality of what this show is and making it approachable. And maybe there's something missing. They also
list others at the end of the article.
Yeah, so go and check it out. I don't know. I really do appreciate seeing other people's perspectives in video and in movie and music. So I dig this
and
stuff.
Some of the best shows I think are from outside the country that you're in, right?
Yeah. And it's not really a matter of like grass is greener on the other side. It's just that it's not your everyday.
It's not like the same thing you see, right? Exactly.
Yeah, so I dig this stuff. So I'll have to check them out. So to the list they go. Okay, let's keep going. We've got another article. We're about halfway through the show, and we'll encourage you to go over and check out all of these over on ohmTown. Click that little link, visit the source. It takes you straight over to the source for our aggregation. 10 pairs of shows that should be watched back to back. Let's see. Willy Wonka, then Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, and then let's see if they.
I can't think of what the other one's called.
Snowpiercer.
Oh, Snowpiercer. Sorry,
it's a trilogy.
I was trying to think of another Wonka name.
So while some TV series continue, this is about TV series, but they actually made a TV series of Snowpiercer. That was the weirdest thing that I have ever watched.
Yeah, that's odd.
I didn't watch the whole thing, but Jennifer Connelly, I think, is the one that runs that, which is really weird. Because the woman, there's no woman protagonist in Snowpiercer. I mean, there's supporting characters, but at the end of the day, that
seems odd.
It's a guy at the very front of the train. Anyway, while some TV series continue for many seasons, I think they justify it in some way, but I don't remember what it is. Others choose to take on a story in a new direction, sometimes creating a spin-off or a sequel series that continues a larger narrative. So let's take a look at 10 pairs. Ben Gibbons over at Screen Rant put the article together. Shows like Better Call Saul, that 90s show, and Star Trek Picard successfully expand on the original series without overhauling it. Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. Better Call Saul is the spin-off of Breaking Bad when it ended. Teen Titans and Young Justice. The Wire and We Own the City. I never watched either one of these.
No, and I didn't know The Wire had a spin-off.
Yeah, We Own the City. I guess so. Full House and Fuller House. I don't remember Fuller House actually doing anything. I thought that it kind of bounced really fast, but maybe not. Right? Netflix revived the hit series, calling it Fuller House. Similar to the original series, where a recently widowed parent is raising 3 children, seeks help with the family. Is it still going? I don't know.
I have no idea. I'm going to look that up.
And the same thing happened with that 70s show. That 70s show had a whole lot of charismatic personalities. One really historically ruined the show because he pivoted into a really, bad person, apparently.
Fuller House ran for 5 seasons. Really? Shockingly.
Wow. Huh. That's interesting. It almost, like, when you hear about that, again, it's like Arrested Development. You have to go back. Maybe the context of my not liking it changed. And I'll watch like a couple episodes of Fuller House and go, oh, this is actually kind of lighthearted and fun. You turn your brain off and just kind of, I don't know.
It seems like it almost just be like a repeat. Like, I think that's different than, say, Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. I haven't seen those, but the premises are different. Yeah.
That 70s show and that 90s show, Star Trek The Next Generation and Star Trek Picard. There's a huge leap between Star Trek The Next Generation and Star Trek Picard in time and context. So I'm biased, though. I really love Star Trek in general, so I'm game for anything that they put out, and I will watch it. But if you're gonna watch it, then you should watch Star Trek The Next Generation and pretty much everything Star Trek, and then watch Star Trek Picard. Because Star Trek Picard is really in a bottle all by itself. I mean, it makes a reference to the historical aspect of it, but you don't need to know anything else.
Correct. I mean, that's one good thing about Picard is you can watch that without having really any other knowledge of Star Trek.
Yeah, the worst part about Picard is that if you've never watched any of the other stuff, you have to accept that they have a relationship, a historical context.
Right, you don't probably appreciate all of the
nuance of it.
Yes.
Like, well, I don't want to ruin it. Picard is what it is. But it gets interesting for sure. All right. Well, Roseanne and the Connors. I watched Roseanne. I never watched any of the Connors. I thought that, actually, that's not true. I watched a little bit of the Connors, but I thought that there was just too much yelling and stuff like that. Yellowstone in 1883. I've never watched either of these, but I absolutely love Westerns and more modern Westerns than old school Westerns. I actually grew up with old school Westerns.
Well, and Yellowstone gets a lot of attention, but I haven't seen it.
Yeah. Dexter and Dexter New Blood. Not really interested in any of this. Just the context of it. I'm not all that interested in it. And number 1 is Big Bang Theory and Young Sheldon. And I've never watched Young Sheldon. Because I had a hard time with old Sheldon.
He was the star of the Big Bang Theory.
At the end.
No, the whole way through.
Oh, no. And they even said that. They pivoted the show from...
After about 1 or 2 episodes. It wasn't like 6 seasons in.
No way.
Yeah, it was really early on.
They said that... they say that the writers and directors and stuff, the showrunners for Big Bang Theory, said that it was like early.
Immediately. I think so.
I thought it was a lot later, like 6 seasons in. You know, when it became tedious, that it was a relationship that was bouncing back and forth between, you know, being fruitful.
Right. I mean, I might be mistaken, but yeah. But I thought Sheldon was the star of the show. Like, he's what made the episodes funny.
Whoa, I didn't know this. This is interesting. So, like, we don't do deep dives, right? We just find out a little bit, but read that paragraph. The third.
Okay.
However, when the lead actor Jim Parsons, who plays Sheldon, decided to leave, the show came to a natural stopping point, but with such an intriguing character, the story had to continue. Enter young Sheldon. That's why it ended?
I didn't know that's why it ended, but I did read in a separate article in ohmTown previously that he had pitched young Sheldon. So maybe that was a way to like exit the scene, but then keep the story going.
Right. Yeah, I remember that. I didn't realize that he actually wanted to bounce. That's fascinating. Huh. Interesting. Well, that's the number 1 there. There's there's more context there, so go and check out the link. I think you'll really dig it. The Screen Rant always has really fun articles, particularly if you're interested in entertainment news or stories, little tidbits, trivia, etc.
Or even ideas of what to watch.
Yeah, if you're looking for something to watch, then definitely subscribe to this show because there's going to be a lot of this kind of talk. You know, hey, you should check this out, check that out. And it's not always new, you know, because you never know. There's hidden gems that are out there that people are talking about, and then it gets into the news and we start talking about it here.
Well, and shows that have been on gain a new audience through different platforms. I mean, Suits comes to mind. It's one that ran and then it had like a completely second following on streaming.
Yep. Actually, there were quite a few articles about Suits over this last week. But I don't know. I don't think I included.
That's actually why they were submitted, because it's like the number 1 streamed show or something, even though it wasn't anywhere near that on its original run.
Yeah, exactly. So the next article is over in Continuity Report as well. 10 most thrilling crime drama TV shows for viewers who are secretly wannabe detectives. Mayor Watt, the AI. We pretty much, really dig.
Wonder how many of these we've seen.
Oh, my driver actually worked on the set of CSI New Orleans.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So while forensic heavy investigations have eclipsed the crime drama landscape in recent years, some mystery gems stand apart by reverting to the genre's roots with good old-fashioned observational skills, analytical thinking, and creativity. Let's go take a look at this list over at Screen Rant. Nicholas Bigelow is the author. Clever protagonists such as Joan Watson in Elementary and Rick Castle in Castle. Add depth to the mystery dramas with their infectious curiosity, gumption, and pursuit of unsolved mysteries. TV shows like The Closer, Unforgettable focus on capturing the drama, emotion, and tension of interrogations, humanizing both the murderers and the detectives. Shows that I really am not interested in, and I hope that I don't have that in this list. I don't see it in this list. Are the like SVU and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah, it might be in here. We'll have to see.
I know from experience, from talking with people, that it has directly helped people.
Yeah, because they've actually learned techniques that has helped them lay clues when they've been a victim of a crime, which is really a good thing.
Or learn a coping mechanism
right.
for what they've been through. My problem with that is that it still romanticizes to a crazy, and that's the wrong term, okay? But to a maladaptive person's mind, that, hey, maybe if I do something horrendous, it's going to end up on TV, and I just don't like that. So Elementary, streaming on Hulu, Apple TV, Amazon Prime Video. Yeah,
that's one based on Sherlock Holmes.
Yes.
I haven't seen one. I don't think
that's the one. Yeah, I'm glad that you started talking about it, because I've seen a couple of episodes of it, but it's definitely Sherlock Holmes in Lucy Liu's body, basically. Former surgeon Joan Watson is introduced as Sherlock's sober companion, but after demonstrating her potential, he takes her on as a partner in training. Fans of Sherlock's classic detective prowess need not worry, since the quintessential detective remains a dominant force throughout the show. But it's really Lucy Liu. So,
I mean, I suppose that's a neat spin on the story.
Yeah, there's other movies that are like that, where it reinterprets, like Dracula has been spun in a different way. Sleeping Beauty has been spun in a different way.
Right. I mean, I think those are kind of interesting when you get something like that.
Yep. Then there's Castle, echoes the classic Murder, She Wrote, as it centers on a mystery author who demonstrates a knack for criminal investigation. It's basically like Argylle light, apparently.
Okay.
We'll see what Argylle is really like. In Argylle, which is actually one of the articles that we're going to talk about, they have the ability to essentially predict.
Right, that's true. Whereas this, I guess, is more after the fact.
Yeah, and they're just sussing it out, They're trying to figure it out. The Closer. This was actually a fun watch. The Closer follows Deputy Chief Brenda Lee Johnson, whose background as a CIA trained interrogator makes her uniquely skilled at drawing confessions out of murder suspects. I've watched several of it.
Excellent. Yeah. Like, the whole cast is really good, not just the lead. Like, I think the whole thing is excellent.
Yeah, I think you gobbled that show up. Unforgettable, streaming on Vudu, Apple TV, Amazon Prime. Unforgettable centers on the detective Carrie Wells, whose hyperthymesia causes her to vividly recall nearly every event in her life. Interesting. The series often demonstrates Carrie's extraordinary memory by highlighting events from her past, but her talent pays for itself through investigations. Whenever she steps into her memories to take a closer look. I don't know how that would work. I've never watched any of it, but
it seems weird, because unless she's always at the scene of the crime as it's happening, I can't quite connect it. But maybe they figured out a way to move past that.
Yeah. Veronica Mars is from way back in 2004. At some point, I thought that they were trying to bring this back, but maybe that's just my imagination. Veronica Mars is a noir mystery gem, following the escapades of its titular main character as she navigates a uniquely toxic high school ecosystem while doggedly investigating her best friend's murder. Fascinating. I never watched Veronica Mars. Obviously, well, I think there was an age thing. Like, it was geared more towards
like a younger audience.
Younger audience, yeah. So it didn't click with me. Now, though, if I were to look back, I'd be able to sit there and just kind of be detached and look at it from a different perspective. Go, oh yeah, I remember. And then Only Murders in the Building. I've heard about this, but I never watched it. There's supposed to be some like amazing people in it. Steve Martin is in it. Selena Gomez is in it. Martin Short's in it. Yeah.
I've seen the trailer for it, or the previews or whatever. It looked pretty good.
Revolves around 3 true crime podcast lovers who team up to investigate a series of mysterious murders in their apartment building. Seems like it might be fun. Lie to Me centers on a team of deception experts. The Mentalist, that's an old school one that they don't even have the data on this thing. But The Mentalist centers on a con artist who begins consulting law enforcement on tricky investigations after demonstrating his singular talent for manipulating the people around him. And then Psych, which was awesome from beginning to end. Absolutely loved that show. It was so much fun to watch.
Yeah, it was a good mix of like the mystery and comedy.
Yep. Yeah. And not so much on the like drama, emotional baggage of family and stuff like that.
No,
but there was
it was
some
nice and light. Yeah.
Yeah. Mainly the father son dynamic, where he would try and lean onto his dad for certain things, but his dad always thought that he was a slacker kind of thing.
Right.
And then White Collar.
That's also a good one.
Yep. Brilliant con artist turned FBI consultant, aiding the Bureau in capturing white-collar criminals just like him. Yep. To catch a criminal, you have to think like a criminal. Why not hire a criminal? Yeah. I know a hacker that does talks after getting caught and turning in everyone that he knew. Became a criminal informant and turned in everybody he knew.
Very interesting.
Right? That's kind of the same thing. Now gets paid by the government and stuff, but anyway, pretty fascinating. So let's go on to the next article. This one is in the Continuity Report as well. $30, the lowest grossing movie of all time explained and why it bombed at the box office. As Hollywood is full of billion-dollar blockbuster franchises, it may come to a surprise that the lowest grossing movie of all time made just $30. Shockingly, the movie was not some obscure film, but rather a 2006 feature starring actors who were, at the time, well known, the thriller Zizek's Road, featuring Katherine Heigl, who was already receiving acclaim for playing the fan favorite Grey's Anatomy character Izzy Stevens at the time, and Tom Sizemore, who had supporting roles in several blockbusters at the point of his career, including Saving Private Ryan, Red Planet, Pearl Harbor, Black Hawk Down. My God. So let's see. This is over at Screen Rant. Bill Dubiel put the article together. I never watched Zizek's Road, so I did not double the profits.
Exactly. I mean, but also, well, I guess at that time it would have had to be in the theater, right? It wouldn't have been streamed.
Yeah. Yeah, when was it? What year? 2006?
2006, yeah. And this one I did look ahead at because it was so intriguing.
Really? So did you glean anything from it that you want to summarize?
Yeah, it was one of those where they had some odd contract and it was supposed to be foreign box office, but there was some domestic component to it. So they were kind of trying to check the block. So they only opened it for like a week, and it was like playing at noon during weekdays in one city or something. And so like only, I think 6 tickets total were sold. And some of those were people that were like friends of the movie people.
What?
Yes, it was just epic. Like I had to submit this one because it was just so weird.
Leo Grillo, I guess his name is, also starred in the film and was collaborating with the writer, director, producer John Penny to create the film specifically for distribution overseas. So that's what you're talking about, right? They'd be able to move forward and create other movies while they never intended to release the film domestically. Why though? Why? Weird. They had an obligation to the SAG to which required a U.S. theatrical release for films with a budget under $2.5 million. That they were not in the direct-to-video market. Oh, okay. So they didn't, to meet the contractual obligations of the SAG. That's why they did it this way. So did it really not make any money even in the other market?
Well, that's the thing that I don't know. Because, like, the budget was around $2 million. So
Yeah.
what did it make in the foreign market?
Right. So the most cost-effective solution turned out to be renting a single theater in Dallas for $1,000 and showing the film once a day at noon for a week. A total of 6 people purchased tickets for $5, yielding $30 gross. 2 of the 6 went to the movie's makeup artist and friend, and Grillo personally refunded their tickets.
Well, and they even lost money on the domestic because they paid $1,000 for the theater.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, so it doesn't even say that it went out even foreign, right? Wow, that was a hot
It's
F
hard
there.
to know.
Just beyond Storage 24 is the objective. So, are there any others? Yeah. Storage 24 grossed just $72. Storage 24 made 95. No. Sorry, the objective made 95. Yeah. Go check it all out. There's more nuance in this link. It's in the chat, and it'll be in the show notes as well. The next article is over in the continuity report. We only have a few more, so stick around. The Night Agent Season 2 is already different from Netflix's action thriller for one major reason. The Night Agent Season 2 is currently in the works, and the next chapter of Peter Sutherland's journey is already different from Netflix's hit action thriller thanks to one major change. What was it? Did you read into this one?
No, I didn't look ahead at any of the others.
Oh, bummer. Marcelo Liet, or Late, put the article together. The weirdest thing about this is I didn't really get much of a dynamic between these two. Maybe it's just
Yeah,
me.
that's true. There wasn't a real connection between the main characters, but I did really like the show.
Yeah, it was a fun watch. And the weird thing about the show is that it came and went like so fast. Once it got engaged, you were like, what the hell? And it just kept on going. And then it immediately chilled at the end. Like there wasn't really a cliffhanger either, as far as I recall, to draw me back into season 2.
I know. So then you kind of wonder, okay, what's going to happen? Because it seemed like they kind of wrapped up the story from season 1.
Yeah, they put a cork in the bottle, but we don't know what's going to end up with her because she still has information, as far as we know. So the absence of source material for season 2 sets the Night Agent apart from other shows like Reacher, offering an unpredictable storyline, which basically means this could be a flash in the pan. You know, this is the one great season.
I don't think it will be, though. It's based on books, which is usually a good sign.
How many books? How much world building is possible? Do you know?
I don't know.
I mean, Reacher just has
a ton. I don't think this has as many.
Gotcha. The first season of The Night Agent, which is based on the book by the same name by Matthew Quirk, introduced Peter Sutherland, Gabriel Basso, shortly before a terrorist attack on a metro. The rest of the series explored Peter's past. But you need to watch this because the reason he is where he is because of this terrorist attack on a metro. So apparently it's going to be very different. So the Night Agent season 2 doesn't have another book to adapt. So the Night Agent,
I just got to that. Yeah, that this was the only one. I thought there were a few, but
so it doesn't. Yeah,
it does not.
Yeah, so they're going to have to do this creative writing aspect of it. But it's hard to do that. I mean, it's really, really hard to write a screenplay and build off of something that doesn't exist. So is Matthew Quirk part of this? Or are they done doing something else? I mean, it's close enough to be a bottle episode, or I should say bottle series, that maybe they should find something else to work on. Maybe Matthew Quirk has other novels that they can just, okay, this character's done.
Right.
Let's do something else. Sorry about that. So, whether there'll ever be another novel featuring Peter Sutherland is difficult to say, but The Night Agent Season 2 is happening. Wow.
And by the way, he does have a lot of other articles, but just not in this series.
Hey, look. It's right there. The power of scrolling.
Right.
So the 500... see, but the main character is different. Yeah. Maybe... I don't know how compelling the others are. The Night Agent was actually... Honestly, compared to others, The Night Agent wasn't compelling. I mean... It was a fun watch, but the charisma wasn't really there. They didn't really command the screen.
Yeah, it wasn't the same as some other in the same genre. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So yeah, this is. I can't imagine that he's actually I'm not a night agent, but I can't believe that he's actually an agent. He just didn't command the screen. So what the Night Agent Season 2's original story means for the Netflix show, unknown. Anybody that talks about this in any other context than saying unknown, well, I mean, obviously they're just adding some material here. Even though the Night Agent made changes to the source material, those familiar with the novel could predict where the story was going and what was going to happen next. That's called being faithful to the source material. And fans of the Night Agent novel would be pissed if it diverged too far from the source material.
That is true.
So, and
nobody likes that when you read the book.
Right? Yeah. I mean, if you're going to diverge, it better be some, light petting, not totally. I'll filter my words. Anyway, so adaptations of action thriller novels have found a lot of success lately. However, unlike other shows like Jack Ryan or Reacher, audiences will not know what to expect from Night Agent. I don't know how popular the source material is to begin with for anybody to be impacted by it. Yeah, Jack Ryan has 33 novels, for crying out loud. Jack Reacher has 28.
Right, yeah, those have a complete following.
And it's still... Lee Childs, I think, is still writing. He just punched out another one recently, as far as I recall. So, and Jack Ryan has so much world building and real world, adaptation that it's going to be... There's so much in Jack Ryan. Just got to find somebody that's stable enough to be Jack Ryan for a longer period of time.
Well, that's true. Yeah, they've had lots of different ones, depending on if it's a movie or a show or whatever. Jack of all trades, because it's different Jacks all the time. So it's a fun watch. Definitely go and watch The Night Agent. But if you're expecting season 2 to be identical to season 1, or even have any context, I'd be surprised if it does. So let's keep going. The next article. Oh, you know what? I didn't throw that one into the chat. Like I said, I promised to stay on top of. But this one I'm going to throw in there right away. Hey, look. Hey. Woohoo! 10 actors we wish played villains more often. This is another Screen Rant article. Playing a compelling villain is not an easy task, and when there is an actor who can do it exceptionally well, audiences often wish to see them continue taking on the sinister roles. So let's just go right on over. Stephen Holland is the author of this article over at screenrant.com. Oh, I almost tore my axolotl off the sticker. You have to be careful of that. I know. Poor little axolotl. Certain actors just excel at portraying villains. So much so that it's a shame that they don't tackle antagonistic and sinister roles more often. Adam Sandler, Michael Cera, Russell Crowe, Hugh Grant. Wasn't Hugh Grant the Oompa Loompa? Yes, he was in Wonka.
Yeah, Rachel McAdams, Denzel Washington, Javier Bardem, Sigourney Weaver, Tom Cruise, Dwayne Johnson. have all excelled in villainous roles. I'm trying to remember but let's go on. So Adam Sandler, primarily known for comedy, but his more villainous roles have been impressive. Triple threat as he excelled as tragic villain in the Safety Brothers Uncut Gems. I never watched it.
Yeah, I haven't seen that.
Wow. If I hear his comedic tone in that movie where he's a villain, it will pull me straight out of the movie.
Yeah.
And
maybe it isn't. I've never seen him in a serious movie, I don't think.
Yeah, I'll have to watch that. Michael Cera excelled on the rare occasions that he was shown his villainous side. As Player X in Molly's game, Cera excelled as an obnoxious celebrity taking joy in destroying his opponents. Played himself in This Is the End. Yep, I guess. Never saw it. Molly's game.
No.
Russell Crowe played Unhinged. Showcased why he needs to be in more villainous roles. In 3:10 to Yuma, Crowe embodied the leader of a ruthless gang of outlaws. And in Les Miserables, he was driven by a misguided quest for justice. In A Beautiful Mind. And even the biblical figure in Noah, while these roles were impressive, it was as a villain in 3:10 to Yuma. Yeah, I don't know. I've always liked Russell Crowe when he's in shows that I've seen him in, particularly Gladiator and A Beautiful Mind. I thought it was...
Right, I mean, I think he's a great actor.
Yeah. I don't remember.
So he'd probably be pretty convincing, though, I think that was very good. I think he'd be very convincing as villain, right? Because he seems to really get into his roles.
Oh, yeah, he eats up that part. That's for sure. So Hugh Grant, I will never see him anything other than a Noompa Loompa now.
Exactly.
So charming, handsome, stuttering love interest in countless romantic comedies. Most people don't think of him as a villain. Let's see. He had a villainous streak. Bridget Jones had a villainous streak. Yeah,
he's like a misogynist in some of his movies. I mean, his character.
Kona Chief in Cloud Atlas was a brutal and bloodthirsty tribal leader. Oh, really? I don't remember that in Cloud Atlas. Oh my god, I'm gonna have to watch it again. I've watched Cloud Atlas. However, it was as Phoenix Buchanan in Paddington 2 that Grant and I haven't watched Paddington 2. Okay. Rachel McAdams played an iconic villain. Should do more sinister roles. Let's see. Well, Mean Girls.
Right, that's where I knew it was from that.
Yeah, that's it. That's the only place that I think I've seen Rachel McAdams.
Right, but that's kind of the point of this article, right? Like they have like 1 or 2 roles as a villain, and it's like, let's see more of this.
Have we watched The Notebook? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Denzel Washington. Tragedy of Macbeth. Washington has truly done it all. However, it was as the corrupt cop and villain Alonzo Harris in Training Day that won him best actor. It's okay. It's getting late. I've been talking too much. Interesting. Javier Bardem. Yes. Okay. So, No Country for Old Men. This dude puts on Psycho. Like, there's only been one time in my life where I've been truly scared of a person, and it was when I pulled into a gas station and there was a person looking out at me from a window bench seat, and that person looked like they were capable of stabbing my soul.
And what did you do?
Well, I resisted the urge to run, and I did my stuff. But I was very aware of this person's presence, and in No Country for Old Men, that's how this guy kind of comes across.
Wow.
Yeah. So one actor who truly stood out with very villainous roles that he took up, Javier Bardem. Credible roles like James Bond antagonist Raul Silva in Skyfall, Capitan Armando Salazar in Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest, and the Academy Award-winning performance as Anton Chigurh in No Country for Old Men. You'll have to, if you haven't watched it, we'll have to watch it. But yeah, definitely freaky. Sigourney Weaver in Holes was the warden. Yep, I can see that. Yeah, I don't think she actually plays. By the way,
that's a great movie.
Yeah.
And I think it's under the radar.
Yeah. It's an interesting movie, that's for sure. Tom Cruise. Tropic Thunder as a studio executive, Les Grossman. Cruise got to show the true extent of his villainous and comedic side. I think that he could play more villainous. His portrayals.
Maybe they needed to do some makeup stuff because I don't think he has like a villainous looking face.
Makeup stuff. That sounds weird. So Interview makeup with a Vampire. He was pretty villainous in Interview with a Vampire. Collateral, not so much, I don't think. Yeah, Collateral 2 demonstrated that he takes to play a compelling villain, but yeah, you have to know what Interview with a Vampire is all about. Then Dwayne Johnson got us started in acting as a villain. He should take on more roles. Let's see, The Scorpion King and The Mummy Returns. So, just villain because of the character's actual writing. I don't think that he was a very compelling villain, you know?
Right.
Not like Javier.
Right.
Javier Bardem, man. Oh my God. I don't know if anybody that was really like villainous in any of this, you know. I haven't, but I can't say that entirely because I haven't seen Adam Sandler play a villain. So, but I'll always have that same, you know, that comedic voice that he always and
exactly.
It's gonna be hard. Anyway, we have one more article, and that's about, well, Argylle. 8 Argylle sequels, prequels, and crossovers the movie sets up. This is something that we've talked about before without this article being in existence, right? So the previous week we talked about Argylle, and we were saying, you know, this has so much other stuff that can be attached to it because it's so unknown, but it makes references to content that might be out there. And I said, it's an ARG. It's a game that's all built around the mystery of what this thing is. So the article is by Greg MacArthur over at ScreenRant.com. And I think it's going to embody what we were talking about because there's so many people tied to this thing by way of other people and by other movies and other shows. In the hint that there's additional screenplay. I don't know. There's something weird about this thing, but it says Argylle's post-credit scene sets up a potential sequel and crossover with the Kingsman franchise, expanding the story world. This is something that we talked about last week. The major twist in Argylle paves the way for Argylle 2, focusing on the origin story of the protagonist, Ellie Conway. We don't even know who Ellie Conway really is.
That is true, right? There's a whole mystery surrounding that.
Yep. So we need to watch Argylle. So,
and there are apparently spoilers in here, so beware.
Yeah, so maybe we should just leave it at that, and we'll just bounce out of this article by dropping it into the chat, and then everybody that hears this between now and next weekend's continuity report, watch Argylle. And we'll talk it we'll talk about it again. But let's see. Don't look. Let's see if there's anything. Yeah, they say that Argylle might set up Kingsman 3.
That's interesting to me.
A future crossover. I think it might be generic enough if you don't read the text. Kingsman 2 could influence Argylle prequel series. Because I think that Argylle it's kind of like Star Wars, where it's, 4, 5, and 6, or, it's not 1, 2, and 3. It's not 7, 8, 9. It's 4, 5, and 6. Sets up a Henry Cavill spinoff. See, Argylle can make a franchise out of 4. Yep. Yeah. And then a sequel again. I mean, the idea of this is massive, and the way that they're cagey about the content. And when you go looking for elements in the real world, you're like, what the hell? And there's evidence that it's
good for this genre, right?
This is the most cagey release of a show I've ever seen. Because there's just enough truth in the real world for you to go, okay, I have to watch Argylle. So I hope that it's profound enough that it's really holding on. But if
it's getting pretty
skewed reviews and stuff,
yeah. But who knows?
Okay, well that sucks. I don't know. Do people not really? I hate to say it like this, but do people not get it? That there's like a whole lot of meat and potatoes in there that you just can't see for the soup?
I mean, I don't know what the issue is, because I've really not read the reviews because I haven't seen Argylle yet, and I want to see it and not be influenced by that.
Okay, well, that's what we're going to end up doing between tonight and next continuity report. And again, within this next week, the continuity report will drop 5 episodes as a podcast. And Reality Hacker will make its 5th episode probably tomorrow. It really depends on how fast Merwat can do his mayoral duties. But my intent is to play catch up, get in the time machine, and go back. Hopefully in rapid fire tomorrow, do all of them. It really depends on how much I can prep. But until then, I am Merwat. That is ohmTown. Let's go down Main Street. There you go. There's the continuity report. I'll refresh and see. Maybe there's something else in there. That counter doesn't really work, but I mean, it does. It's just that it was frozen from an hour ago. So we've got a whole bunch of new content. At any rate, let me do it right. I am Merwat. That is ohmTown.com. Up there is the visualizer for the sentient AI that is trying to keep me out of trouble. We'll see. The night is young.
Good night, ohmTown citizens. We will see you next week for the continuity report next Sunday. But stay tuned for upcoming episodes of The Daily Show.
You got it. Take care. Bye-bye.